You know, I mean, she used to be on
Was
Deal or
he
No
infiltrated?
Deal. Look, she was on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, that's right.
It began quietly, almost imperceptibly, in the first days of February 2026, a set of photographs that would detonate Meghan Markle's carefully curated narrative. High-resolution images surfaced online showing a younger Meghan aboard a luxury yacht in 2014, laughing and socializing with powerful men, including Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. Metadata analysts and online investigators confirmed the authenticity of the images almost immediately, noting the distinctive Chanel sunglasses, a small mole above her right hip, and even the curve of a belly ring. Within hours, social media erupted. The hashtag #YachtGirlMeghan surged across platforms, reaching tens of millions of views, fueled by sleuths dissecting every detail of the photos. Before we begin today's royal update, I want to take a quick moment. Many of you watch these videos but haven't subscribed yet, and you don't want to miss the latest developments and fascinating stories from the world of royalty. Subscribing is completely free and keeps you up to date as everything unfolds. And while you're here, let us know where are you watching from. Share it in the comments. It's wonderful to see viewers joining us from around the world. The timing could not have been worse. Netflix was preparing to release The Climb Within, a $18 million documentary billed as Meghan's triumphant return, scheduled for February 14, Valentine's Day. The special portrayed Meghan as a self-made woman who rose from humble beginnings in Woodland Hills, California, to global prominence, marrying into royalty before striking out independently. The documentary emphasized perseverance, grit, and empowerment, an inspirational narrative designed to recast her legacy. But the yacht images threatened to shatter that image entirely. As clips of the leaked photos circulated online, audiences began comparing them to the carefully scripted messaging of the documentary. Here was Meghan, at age 32, vacationing among elite circles, appearing comfortable in luxury settings, at odds with her claims of minimal connections and self-built success. Forums and social media communities exploded with commentary. Influencers who had supported the documentary quietly deleted endorsements. Reddit threads dissected the imagery in forensic detail, matching timestamps, yacht locations, and even travel itineraries from her suit's filming schedule. The viral conversation shifted from curiosity to outrage as contradictions became undeniable. Within 2 days, Netflix faced its first crisis. Subscribers criticized the streaming platform for promoting content that appeared misleading, while corporate sponsors linked to Archewell wellness, skincare, lifestyle, and herbal tea brands paused marketing campaigns pending clarity. Internal communications leaked, revealing that Netflix executives had warned Meghan's production team about the potential risk of resurfaced images before release. No edits were made, and the documentary aired as planned, now juxtaposed against the viral yacht photos. Public trust began to fracture, and initial projections of global engagement collapsed. On screen, Meghan's own composure became part of the story. During the premiere, host Sierra Langley carefully approached the subject of untold chapters in Meghan's life. Meghan's demeanor stiffened. Her smile faltered. Moments later, she erupted, breaking script to compare herself to Catherine, Princess of Wales, and critiquing her husband, Prince Harry, in ways that were sharp and unplanned. These unscripted bursts were captured by the production team and immediately circulated in snippets online. By the end of the broadcast, the narrative of self-made struggle appeared inconsistent, undermined by evidence of luxury, elite access, and selective disclosure. The leak not only exposed her past associations, but highlighted discrepancies in her publicly stated story. The Toronto apartment she had once shared with celebrity chef Corey Vidiello, party circuit appearances, and even a sealed 2011 Georgia marriage record were all revealed as previously undisclosed facts. Analysts and royal biographers began questioning the accuracy of her public accounts. The juxtaposition of the yacht images with the on-screen narrative triggered a wave of backlash. Trending hashtags, viral videos, and commentary questioning Meghan's credibility and authenticity. Within 48 hours, the consequences extended beyond social media. Netflix subscribers canceled accounts en masse, stock analysts revised projections, and multiple sponsors terminated agreements. The carefully constructed narrative of empowerment, independence, and resilience was now overshadowed by public perception of concealment and selective storytelling. Meghan's silence amplified the damage. No public statements, social posts, or media appearances followed the leak. The vacuum of response allowed social media and news outlets to define the narrative, portraying her as reactive, evasive, and unaccountable. By the morning of February 14, as Valentine's Day dawned, the documentary's intended message of triumph had collapsed. Social media was ablaze with memes and viral clips juxtaposing Meghan's statements with the leaked yacht photos. Former supporters publicly withdrew praise. Corporate partners distanced themselves. The streaming giant, once confident in the project's global success, now faced a rapidly escalating crisis. In a single wave of images, the foundation of Meghan Markle's personal brand, carefully curated over years, began to unravel, setting the stage for the institutional, legal, and reputational consequences that would define the coming days. By February 14, 2026, the fallout from the leaked yacht photos had escalated into a full-blown media crisis. Social media platforms were dominated by the hashtag #YachtGirlMeghan, which had already surpassed 90 million impressions globally. Memes, TikTok reactions, YouTube analyses, and side-by-side clips flooded feeds, dissecting every detail of Meghan's past. Analysts compared her statements in the climb within, claims of self-made struggle and independence, with evidence of elite networking, luxury vacations, and undisclosed relationships. The contrast appeared stark. Public sentiment shifted rapidly from curiosity to suspicion, and even former supporters began to question her credibility. News outlets from London to Los Angeles covered the story relentlessly. Headlines framed Meghan as a figure of contradiction, a woman preaching empowerment while allegedly participating in elite social circles that her public persona denied. Newspapers ran front-page stories juxtaposing yacht photos with excerpts from the climb within, highlighting inconsistencies. Royal commentators speculated on the implications of her connections to Prince Andrew and Epstein, while biographers revisited long-dismissed claims about her pre-Harry social life. Every segment and article contributed to a sense of narrative collapse. Corporate partners reacted swiftly. Archewell Wellness, which had planned a global product rollout tied to Meghan's personal brand, suspended all marketing campaigns. French perfume houses, wellness tea startups, and lifestyle brands associated with Evermar, Meghan's lifestyle venture, halted promotions, citing concerns over reputational risk. Internal communications leaked, revealing discussions over potential boycotts and negative press. One executive described Evermar as a liability, not a product. Several large donors to her philanthropic initiatives also froze contributions pending clarification of the unfolding controversy. Netflix, which had invested $18 million in the climb within, faced the sharpest impact. Subscriber cancellations spiked, with reports indicating more than 2.4 million accounts canceled within 48 hours of the premiere. Internal projections for revenue from partnerships and brand integration, initially set at $32 million, collapsed to just $9 million. The streaming giant's stock fell by 4.7%, wiping out nearly $3.8 billion in market value. Senior executives convened emergency meetings to assess damage control, reviewing the legal implications, contractual obligations, and PR response strategies. Leaked internal emails confirmed that the production team had been warned about the resurfaced photos before the show aired, yet no content adjustments were made. Public backlash was amplified by influencer and media commentary. Previously supportive commentators quietly removed endorsements or published critical reevaluations. Social media communities dedicated to Meghan's charitable and media projects began to fracture, with members posting retractions or openly expressing disillusionment. On TikTok, one viral stitch juxtaposed her line from the documentary, "I didn't use anyone to get ahead," with the yacht photos, garnering over 15 million views in under 24 hours. Reddit discussions went from investigative curiosity to moral judgment, with users accusing her of deliberate omission and misleading self-branding. Internally, Meghan's team faced turmoil. 2 senior production assistants resigned in protest, citing ethical concerns over narrative manipulation and selective disclosure. PR and legal advisors scrambled to advise on crisis management, yet Meghan herself remained silent. No statements, posts, or interviews were issued. The absence of a response amplified public perception of culpability. Analysts and commentators interpreted the silence as either tacit admission or strategic miscalculation. The longer Meghan stayed off camera, the greater the impression of loss of control over her brand. Royal connections added another layer of complication. Insiders reported that King Charles III was briefed on the situation by senior palace aides. The dossier included verified provenance of the yacht images, discrepancies in Meghan's documentary claims, and previously sealed legal documents, including her 2011 Georgia marriage certificate. A palace source indicated that the situation was now considered a breach of institutional trust, with discussions underway regarding Meghan's formal status in the royal family. As media scrutiny intensified, the narrative began to extend beyond public perception into institutional and financial domains. Every misalignment between Meghan's projected image and historical record was amplified in real time. Legal experts debated potential liability for undisclosed facts in a high-profile media production. Corporate sponsors assessed brand risk. Streaming platforms evaluated contractual exposure. And the public, now fully engaged, consumed each new development with unprecedented speed and intensity. By the close of February 14, the combination of media storm, corporate withdrawals, and social media outrage had solidified a new reality. Meghan's self-constructed narrative of empowerment and resilience was publicly questioned, and her once celebrated media presence had become a cautionary tale of rapid reputational collapse. While the documentary aired in full, its intended purpose of redemption had been subverted by the timing and virality of the leaks. The stage was set for further institutional, legal, and personal consequences, as the scandal now reached beyond social media into the corporate, royal, and global public domains, marking a historic turning point in her public life. By February 15, 2026, the scandal had escalated far beyond media coverage and social media commentary. King Charles III, long silent regarding the Sussexes, had formally intervened. According to palace insiders, a confidential intelligence briefing had been delivered detailing the yacht photos, Meghan's previous sealed marriage record in Georgia, and discrepancies between her public statements and the climb within and verifiable historical records. Senior aides described the situation as a breach of sovereign trust, prompting the king to initiate direct communication with Meghan. A 7-minute private video call, conducted from the Royal Library at Windsor, reportedly left palace aides stunned. Sources stated that Charles's tone was calm but firm. The institution demanded clarity regarding Meghan's past affiliations, her claims of self-made success, and the veracity of her statements in the documentary. During the call, Meghan's responses were described as evasive and stammering, failing to provide credible explanations or denials. This lack of clarity compounded the crisis, with palace insiders interpreting her tone as indicative of either strategic silence or a breakdown in composure. The royal household subsequently enacted a series of unprecedented measures. Official archives were updated to remove Meghan's images, references, and historical association with the royal family. Digital media repositories were instructed to erase footage from 2018 through 2020, effectively rendering her tenure as Duchess of Sussex invisible within institutional records. Buckingham Palace also quietly instructed correspondents that Meghan was no longer to be considered part of any official duties, while no formal revocation of titles or visas was publicly issued. The action was symbolic, procedural, and definitive, a clear message that Meghan's brand, previously intertwined with the monarchy, was now decoupled. At the same time, Netflix faced intense internal review. The climb within, initially projected to recoup $32 million through partnerships, advertising, and branded content, had only realized $9 million in ROI by February 15. Senior executives convened emergency meetings to enforce contract lockdown protocols. Legal teams reviewed indemnification clauses and external liability, while PR consultants debated whether public statements were advisable or likely to worsen perception. Internal communications revealed that production staff had known about the resurfaced yacht photos in advance, yet no preemptive disclosure or content editing occurred. By mid-afternoon, Netflix issued an internal directive to deprioritize the project algorithmically, remove promotional banners, and halt any planned global tie-ins with corporate sponsors. Corporate partners reacted in concert. French perfume brands, wellness companies, and lifestyle ventures associated with Archewell or Evermar suspended campaigns. Donors to Archewell Foundation paused financial contributions, requesting transparency on brand and public trust implications. Leaked communications indicated that corporate executives viewed Meghan as a liability, not an asset. One internal email described the situation bluntly. "The brand is compromised. Continuing association risks reputational damage." The rapid withdrawal of support reflected both the severity of the backlash and the unprecedented speed at which narrative perception had shifted. Internally, Archewell Productions was reported to be in turmoil. Senior staff members described Meghan as reactive, paranoid, and emotionally combustible. 2 employees resigned, citing ethical conflicts regarding selective disclosure, and the remaining team was instructed to halt all initiatives indefinitely. Communication lines with Prince Harry's team reportedly froze. Sources close to the Duke confirmed he was visibly shaken by the rapid unraveling of both media projects and public perception of Meghan. The couple's co-parenting arrangements reportedly continued under intense privacy constraints, but observers speculated that trust and collaboration had been severely eroded. The media storm extended beyond corporate and royal institutions. Investigative journalism outlets intensified coverage, tracing Meghan's social, professional, and familial associations from 2011 through 2014. Articles revisited Soho House appearances, party circuits, and elite networking, contrasting these events with her self-portrayed narrative of struggle and self-reliance. Comparisons between her statements on poverty, systemic discrimination, and independence with tangible evidence of elite social access highlighted gaps in credibility. Analysts framed these gaps not as minor inconsistencies, but as systemic contradictions, calling into question the foundation of her public persona. By February 16, the combined effect of royal action, media scrutiny, and corporate withdrawal created a feedback loop of reputational collapse. The hashtag #YachtGirlMeghan continued to trend globally, now coupled with commentary on institutional consequences and legal questions surrounding her previous marriage record. Public engagement shifted from mockery to disbelief, then to a measured fascination with the consequences of misalignment between personal branding and verifiable history. Analysts in PR and media strategy described the case as a textbook example of brand vulnerability under institutional and social scrutiny. By February 17, 2026, the fallout from the leaked yacht photos and the Climb Within documentary had reached a level few anticipated. While social media frenzy had begun to stabilize, the long-term consequences for Meghan Markle, Archewell, and Prince Harry were only beginning to manifest. Analysts noted that the combination of institutional repudiation, corporate withdrawal, and reputational erosion created a multi-layered crisis that would affect future endeavors for years to come. Public perception, once a primary asset for Meghan's personal brand, had fractured irreversibly. Online communities previously loyal to the Duchess began closing ranks around accountability and transparency rather than celebrity worship. Reddit threads dedicated to Sussex support either locked or shifted to critique, and fan groups on Facebook and Discord collapsed under internal conflict. Netflix, which had initially projected a $32 million return from partnerships, branded content, and advertising tied to the Climb Within, confirmed total realized revenue at $9 million. Senior executives noted that loss of trust among subscribers was compounded by corporate sponsors freezing activity. L'Oreal, H&M Conscious, and wellness startups formally suspended collaborations, citing reputational risk. Internal reports suggested that financial damages extended beyond direct losses. Brand association with the Duchess had become a liability, affecting projected launches of wellness products, speaking engagements, and philanthropic campaigns. Investors and donors to Archewell Foundation placed existing pledges on hold, requesting thorough auditing of both financial and operational transparency. Legal consequences also began to take shape. The 2011 sealed marriage certificate in Georgia, now public knowledge, prompted inquiries into potential falsifications or misrepresentations of her marital status in prior legal filings, including U.S. immigration and British residency applications. While no criminal charges were reported, law firms specializing in corporate compliance and family law noted that the combination of prior sealed documents, conflicting public statements, and international residency could complicate both personal and corporate legal standing. A consortium of UK lawyers filed a formal opposition to the Evermar trademark application, citing conflicts of interest and potential misuse of former royal titles for commercial gain. Internal communications from legal counsel warned that ongoing silence from Meghan's team could be interpreted as tacit acceptance of these claims, further jeopardizing financial and brand protection. Prince Harry, although not directly implicated in the yacht scandal, faced collateral damage. Insiders revealed that Harry had retreated from public appearances and virtual engagements, including scheduled charity events, to mitigate further association with Meghan's crisis. Analysts described his position as precarious. The public continued to perceive him as aligned with Meghan, yet internal royal communications and aides hinted at his growing isolation within the family network. Privately, sources noted, Harry struggled to maintain cohesion with Archewell staff and to reassure co-parenting arrangements amidst the evolving public scrutiny. Strategic advisors recommended minimizing exposure and focusing on family stability, but the Duke's options were limited given the pervasive media coverage. The personal impact on Meghan Markle was profound. Montecito sources described the estate as being on virtual lockdown. Social and professional contacts reported that she had ceased appearances, engagements, or public communications entirely. Staff characterized her as stunned, frustrated, and emotionally volatile, with several employees requesting reassignment or resigning due to ethical conflicts. The psychological toll of the rapid erosion of influence, combined with institutional distancing and media exposure, created a state of isolation unprecedented in her career. Analysts in behavioral psychology noted that high-profile figures facing simultaneous corporate, social, and institutional rejection often experience compounded stress, which can further destabilize decision-making and public messaging. The monarchy's institutional response was deliberate and comprehensive. The palace clarified, through silent archival action, that Meghan Markle was no longer associated with official royal duties. Digital records were updated to remove her presence from the line of succession, and historical references to her tenure were neutralized. The decision was both symbolic and practical. It reaffirmed institutional authority while signaling to public and corporate audiences that attempts to manipulate royal narratives for personal brand advancement would not be tolerated. Legal advisories further suggested that any future attempt to leverage the Sussex name commercially would be scrutinized for compliance with intellectual property and brand use regulations established under royal precedent. Public perception, however, remained the most volatile element. By February 18, memes and commentary shifted from ridicule to analysis of consequences. Online narratives framed Meghan's case as a cautionary tale of brand vulnerability, showing how gaps between personal narrative and verifiable history could trigger global collapse. The Duchess, once celebrated for resilience and empowerment, became an archetype of strategic overreach and selective storytelling. Observers in media studies described this as a case study in narrative fragility, highlighting that the combination of institutional oversight, corporate accountability, and social verification created a feedback loop capable of destabilizing even high-profile personal brands.